Well, you quit school. I think, have you finished by now? Because with you guys, you quit school. Was it difficult to make that decision?
Not really in the end, because what happened was the sort of last couple of months before we quit school, it started getting really busy, and we couldn't do well in both things. You know, we couldn't do well in school and then do well with the band, and it had gotten really serious with record labels and sort of on the cusp of signing a deal, and it was kind of more our parents' decision, and they kind of just said, you know, like, if you want to leave, and we think it'd be better if you left and just, you know, went for this and had a proper go with it and, you know, pursue it, and if it doesn't work out, you know, you can always go back to education and do it again, but I suppose with this opportunity you don't want to pass it up because it may never come around again.
Right. Okay. So in the end it was quite
it was quite just like an obvious thing to do.
Okay. Well, the first, well, it wasn't the first EP, but the EP, Young, Gifted and Blue, it was only covers. Then now for the record, it's mostly your own songs.
Yeah.
How did you transition between just playing covers and writing your own material?
It was really just from gigging and sort of the buzz of gigging. And when we first went over to the UK, there was a lot of people that were quite cynical about the band, and we were still treating it as a bit of fun. We weren't taking it that seriously, and we were just doing covers, and sort of a lot of cynics were like, oh, these guys, why are they over here? They shouldn't be gigging, they're only doing covers. And, you know, my sort of knee-jerk reaction was just like, well, you know, we haven't even tried to write any songs, you know, give us a chance to write some songs and then you can judge us. So then we just started writing tunes, and then as, you know, we gigged a lot more and we did other things, and you sort of get excitement from playing songs live, then you want to write more songs, and that's sort of what we did, was just kept writing, and it just developed really nicely for the album.
Was it a collective effort, the writing process?
It's mainly kind of me on an acoustic, and I write the basic tune on an acoustic, and then we sort of all jam it out and come up with an electric version.
And what was the first song, you mentioned this period, well, what was the first song you started writing on when you decided?
The first song was She's So Fine, that's on the album actually. It's the first tune we ever did properly as the band, and then Blue Collar Jane was after that. So.
And then, well, a song, let's take Blue Collar Jane, a song like that, when you write it, was it written with a specific person in mind?
No, not really. It was kind of more, we'd really gotten into rock and roll, and I was really sort of fascinated by Chuck Berry and how he sort of tried to tell all these stories, and, you know, his lyrics are so kind of fast flowing, and I just sort of wanted to write a Chuck Berry tune, and that's sort of just how it came out. And it's about nobody specifically, but, you know.
Well, then, when you do write, were there any songs that were written maybe autobiographically?
Yeah, I suppose some of them are all a little bit, you know, all have little bits in them that are sort of autobiographical or about people you know, and, you know, because that's all you can write about really is what you know and people you know, but I don't want to give too much away.
Okay. Well, the album is called Snapshot. Yeah. Can you tell me where the title came from?
We just wanted to make the album like a snapshot of the live set, and that's what we kept saying, that we wanted to make a snapshot. So then we just thought it was a good name after a while.
So what in particular about the live set did you want to capture in the recording?
Well, that's what got us known in the first place, was how we played live, and that got all the record company interest, and people loved it. So we also liked the idea of playing live in the studio as well. So just wanted to make it as live as possible.
And is it I assume this is how you did it in the studio?
Yeah, we just played the song, and then we did like vocal overdubs or guitar solos, or any mistakes that we made.
Okay. And I've written his name, I can't remember.
Chris Tomlin.
The director, a legendary director, he
produced,
did the Beatles, Pink Floyd. So what was it like to work with somebody like that?
Yeah, I mean,
your first record?
For the first record, yeah, it was pretty amazing. Yeah, he's just a great person to work with, because you'd assume someone with that, you know, back catalogue, and you know, he's such a legend, and he's got such a legendary status that you'd assume that there's going to be a lot of ego involved, but he just had no ego at all, and, you know, listened to everybody's opinions and took everything on board, and it was just a two-way conversation. He didn't control it and we didn't control it. It was just like a really pleasant experience.
Well, was it intimidating in that sense then to go up to him and say, well, I don't like this?
I think maybe at first it was a little bit difficult because we hadn't really been in a studio that much, and we didn't want, we were a little bit nervous, but we just grew, to get we grew a great relationship with each other, and it was just became a really easy thing to say. He said, oh, well, I don't really like this bit, or he said, oh, I think we should change this, and it was quite open and very easy once we got to know each other.
And was it a learning process in that sense as well, that you've learned things about producing a record?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think the way you approach recording in a studio and the way you play live is different. Even if you want to capture the live energy, which we wanted to do, it's still a different sort of process to doing that than just literally just bashing the track out, and you have to think about what it's going to sound like on the other side of it. So,
well, how then do you evoke that same energy in the studio when you have no crowd in front of you?
Well, I suppose that's where all those gigs came in. Came in with the experience of playing gigs that there was no crowds there, and we just sort of went for it anyway and just said, let's just have fun and really get into it. And that's what you do in the studio. We were all in the same room, so it was quite a good vibe, and everyone was just having fun. And that's what you have to do when you're in the studio, is try and get that energy onto the record.
Well, you've been named by NME as the #1 new band to watch. You've had some notable artists be fans: Noel Gallagher, Roger Daltrey.
Yeah.
Is it difficult to keep grounded amongst all this admiration?
Not really. I mean, never really think about it that much. Whenever you're talking to them people, you're just talking to another musician, and they have the same job as you, and they have the same common interests as you, and you just talk about music if you're talking to them. And then you don't really think about it until afterwards, where you think, geez, I just met Roger Daltrey, but it's very easy to keep level head about it.
Does it add pressure to where you feel that you have to do well?
I don't think so. I think if anything, it sort of spurs you on and kind of encourages you, because you think, oh, well, people that I really sort of kind of admire and respect and take a lot of influence from, who like the stuff, it sort of encourages you to keep doing it, and just to be better and be as good as you can be. But I don't think it puts any added pressure on you at all.
Well, you started out just as you said, just playing around, wanting to play music. Now that your first record is out, where is the ambition? What does the future hold?
Still the same. We just want to keep gigging and just keep making music.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks very much.